From Rosie O'Donnell trying her hardest to slam Trump to Jasmine Crockett making more ridiculous claims. Let's unpack all of these controversial moments with our political panel in studio. Joining me is political commentator and senior contributor to Young Voices, Daniel Edfrins. Did I say your last name correctly?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Also with us, host of This Is America with Rich Valdez and iHeartRadio, Rich Valdez with an S, and activist and founder of the New York City Republican Club, Marko Kepi. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. So, Rosie O'Donnell, she has major Trump derangement syndrome. I don't know if you saw Trump earlier. He hit back at a reporter who asked a stupid question. So I'm going to play the soundbite from Trump first, and then you're going to hear Rosie's response, which she was on with Jim Acosta, and she says it's rape what Trump did. Yeah, watch this.
Why do you blame the Biden administration?
Because they let him in. Are you stupid? Are you a stupid person? Because they came on a plane along with thousands of other people that shouldn't be here, and you're just asking questions because you're a stupid person.
We, not Democrats versus Republicans, we, people who have decency as one of their values, a decent person would stand up in spite of their job and say, I will not sit here and watch you verbally assault and attack and rape a woman.
Can you imagine how offensive this is to women that have actually been sexually assaulted and raped? Marko, you first. What are your thoughts as like Rosie O'Donnell? These people are so deranged.
Well, first of all, anything that she says should not be taken serious. I mean, she's a complete joke now. And I have actually worked on the asylum missions where we had illegal immigrants that were shipped in by the former administration, and I've seen who those people are. And President Trump is absolutely right. There was a lot of criminals in those hotels that we were managing. They had zero respect for the law. They had zero respect for the military. And they were not the poor immigrants that the media tries to portray out there. They had cars parked right outside the hotels. They were living in five-star hotels that we were paying for, the taxpayers. And they were completely just ripping off our country and taking us for idiots. So I'm glad that the president is finally, undoing what the former administration did.
And speaking of idiots, Jasmine Crockett was at it again, trying to demonize President Trump and defend illegal aliens from being deported. And here's what she said.
Because if that's the case, let's talk about the white supremacists and how many of them need to be kicked out of this country, because I can guarantee you I can track down more crimes that they've committed, because overall immigrants have a lower crime committal rate than white supremacists. But we don't want to talk about that.
All right, Daniel, white supremacists, they're committing the majority of crimes, according to Jasmine Crockett.
I think Jasmine Crockett is just using the ordinary Democrat line that's getting old at this point. This idea that we're talking about immigrants and those who've given us so much in this country. That's blatantly false. We're talking about those who've come in, who's taken our benefits, who's caused crime in New York City and other major cities. And the fact that she refuses to acknowledge that shows that it's just an impasse. The fact that she said that and Rosie O'Donnell said what she said, I think they're obviously not meeting the moment because they know that there's no defense for what they're saying.
And Rich, what do you think about Jasmine Crockett deflecting and always with the white supremacy claim?
Well, look, I think first, the left within government, the left within the media, they're kind of hysterical lately, whether it's Rosie O'Donnell or Jasmine Crockett trying to make things up. I can't remember the last time that we saw a massive string of attacks or rapes or anything like that by white supremacists. Haven't seen it, hasn't happened, it's fake, it's phony, it's fraud. But Rosie O'Donnell saying that this was a verbal rape, raping a woman, I mean, she says it with such certitude that you would think that there's some truth to that when the whole thing is a farce. And it's because the left within the free press, they don't like Donald Trump's free speech.
Right. And where is Jim Acosta's responsibility as a so-called journalist to hit back and say, wait a second, I think that's a bridge too far, Rosie, saying it's rape and assault. Now, the White House is hitting back at the fake news. It launched Media Offender of the Week on its website to further battle fake news media. You see Mark Kelly right there. We'll do a round robin here. Marko, you go first. What do you think about the media's responsibility to kind of push back on these wild claims?
So the media is what's causing all this division in our country. Whenever we have a tragedy, they try to point out to the president, but they forget that every day they're pushing towards that division in our country. They're trying to vilify the president every day, and that's not helping. When they let people like Rosie O'Donnell, as our colleague here just said, just continue on with those accusations, it's completely wrong, it's completely false. And, there's people out there that take her words maybe seriously, and then they take that as a mission to go after the president or people like they did in Washington, D.C. at our National Guard.
Right. And that guy, they're saying he was radicalized while he was here, Lachenwall. Daniel, what do you think about the media?
I think this is a great move from the Trump administration. I think that Americans distrust the media, and for good reason. It's the media's responsibility not to have the kind of spin where Rosie O'Donnell's take seems to have some credence when it absolutely does not. And I think Americans need to continue to have that skepticism of the media.
Final 30 seconds to you, Rich Valdez.
For too long, we've had this adherence to pomp and circumstance, to staying within the lines. How dare you? That offends me. And you know what? President Trump, I like to say, he's like the first talk radio president, right? He's the one that says, I'm going to call this what it is. I'm going to make fun of you. I'm going to make a funny name for you. And we need that. And, Charlamagne the God has a segment called Donkey of the Day. This is the White House's version of Donkey of the Day. I think it's fantastic.
Yeah, and he called that reporter stupid because it was a stupid question. He calls it like he sees it. But it's a trademark New York. We're all New Yorkers here, and that's how we talk, right? All right, Daniel, Rich, Marco, you'll be back the next hour. Thank you guys so much for joining us.